I'm going to show you how you can test the plug-in power voltage that comes out of your recorders. If you like to use lav mics, external stereo mics, things like a set of clippies to record stuff out in the field. Some of these external mics need more power than others do with them, and if your recorder doesn't put out enough voltage on them, sometimes they don't sound very good. They'll get a little bit off. They make a sort of clicking noises or just won't run at all. So most the little lavalier mics can take lower voltage down even below 1 volt and still function. But if you get something that has a larger capsule on it, they need a little bit more power to run and take in the vibrations of it and process that signal to your recorder. So I'm going to show you how to check that voltage on them, because the stats that they give you with the recorders online aren't always dead on. Sometimes they'll just give you the generic 2.5 volts, and that's usually will work for most anything, but that voltage isn't always dead on correct. You need to look. You can also check if your mics are having some issues, the recordings aren't going well. You can check and see if your recorder is just not putting out the voltage anymore. Now that'll happen with time. Sometimes they just won't put out enough voltage anymore. So I'm gonna go through some of these older Zoom recorders. These are probably the biggest selling recorder ever. So it gives most people will know what these are. So just take one of these male-to-male cords. Stereo one works best with these. Any male-to-male. Plug it into recorder first. Just turn the recorder on. Most of these are set up to automatically have plug-in power enabled on them. Some of the higher end recorders, you can turn the plug-in power on and off. And like this Tascam, this X6 here, you can change it between stereo and mono also, aside from turning it on and off. So what you want to do with this, turn it on. You can just take a cheap multimeter like I've got here, basic Harbor Freight multimeter, and you want to test from the 2 rings on here. So if I can get this in frame here, touch the outer part of the plug and the inner ring, and it'll tell you. So right now this is putting out 2.36 volts. This middle ring won't do anything with these type recorders. Some of the recorders, if you can set it between mono and stereo, it'll enable that middle ring. But most always, you just want to check it from these 2 points on here, the tip and the inside ring. So you can see with this old recorder, it rates at 2.5 volts, but I'm getting 2.36. You have a little bit of loss through the cord, but it shouldn't be very much at all when you're checking these. So I'm going to go through and check each one and see how they compare. This has been replaced by the current 2025 version, but this was a bestseller for years also. So this one's putting out even more voltage, 2.43, back and forth with it, up from the 2.36, I believe the other one had with it. Gonna move on to a Tascam. This is a brand new model, came out in 2025, just about a month ago. This is the DR-07XP. This is the 32-bit float version of it. This has been basically the same recorder, mics and everything for the past 10 years or plus or so. Menus are almost completely the same except for the addition of the 32-bit menu on part of the menu on that. So let me give this a go. The plug on it's right on the top. Then you just hold this button in to turn it on. See what sort of voltage we get with it. .17. So that's low. That at that low of a voltage, things like Clippies, which is one of the probably the biggest selling mics that people like to use for field recording, that sort of thing, that is low to be able to run those type of mics on there. So you might have some issues with this recorder and using a higher quality, higher powered mic with it. 2.17, once you get much below that 2.5, you can run into issues. So this will probably power them and run them, but just not quite as well with it. So we're going to try the other Tascam here. This X6 is a couple of years older, but it's still a 32-bit float recorder with it. Plugs in the side here. That's one thing about this X6. It's a little slow to turn on. If you got to catch something to record it really quick, you can't always count on this recorder to boot up in time for you, so you need to be ready with it. When you do this recorder here, you need to go into the menu. No, the general settings. The I/O settings. There's your plug-in power. I got it set to off, so just make sure you got that turned on. I'll set it to mono. We'll check it. .36. So this only puts out the same amount of power that you got with the old original Zoom recorder with this. So the plug-in power, you can't set it any higher than that on this X6. So that's a little bit of a disappointment that $260 once $350 recorder puts out the same amount of plug-in power that this recorder you can get used for about $25 now on it. I'm going to switch it to stereo, and when you go to stereo, get to work. That adds power to both of the rings here. So before, even though all these recorders worked with stereo, there's only one ring powering each one. But when you switch to stereo with this one, it'll power all three rings. So you can check and see if there's any variances in voltage in case, say, one of your mics could be getting less power than another one. So I'll check it like I did the first time. The inner and the outer ring, 2.36. I'll check the inner ring. So it's lower voltage. So as you can see here, in stereo, one is lower than the other one. They're not matched very well. So, see. So really, both of these should be the same between the two, or you're going to have one mic that's powered a little more than the other one on it. So if you just want to check any of your recorders A little cord like this is all you need. Doesn't have to be a curled one. It can be any of the straight ones, the real cheap ones you get off of Amazon. I'll put a link to one in the description below and to the recorders too, in case you want to take a look at that. But that just, if you're having trouble with your mics at all, it could be, you're getting a low voltage with it, and that's an easy way to check for you. So if this helped you out at all, please like and subscribe. Thanks a lot for watching.